Welcome back to the platform. I've got the great man Sam Newman on the couch. This man needs no introduction. He's been inducted into the Hall of Fame, 18 years with Geelong, and just a really top man. Let's have a look what he's been up to in his life.
He makes the papers as often as the biggest names in the game, and he's been retired for more than 30 years. He is the somewhat reluctant star of the long-running footy show, with a unique capacity to say and do things on and off screen that land him in hot water.
But if this was about the AFL putting yes on the football, was about climate change or global warming or obesity or save the whale or greenhouse emissions or carbon footprint or whatever, I would have exactly the same opinion. The very fact that it's about the yes vote for gay marriage is irrelevant. So please don't say, don't hijack this into something it's not. But who in the hell are these people at the AFL who are telling the football public what they should do in their lives and who they should vote for in any political agenda? Who are you? Who gives you the right to tell people and to put on the football what people should do? For God's sake, there's a plebiscite going on in the country at the minute, the yes or no vote. What right have you got to say what people should be doing? The 3 or 4 million AFL fans, you are saying you should vote one way or the other. Yes, you're saying you should vote for. Who are you? What gives you the right? You are nothing more than obsequious, fawning, sycophantic political whores. You have no right to get involved in political messages. Let people go to the football and do what they want to do. Just watch the game.
You're in the Hall of Fame and you're in Geelong's Team of the Century, and having seen you play, you deserve both those accolades.
Well, that's mighty neighbourly of you, Mick.
Yeah. Is there someone of the modern era that you believe plays the game?
I'm not
the way
about
you
to tell you how I played football or how good I was or I wasn't. I'm not about to tell you who I would be like. That is in the eye of the beholder. That is so subjective. Me telling you about what sort of footballer I was. I played for 18 years with Geelong. I missed 5 years in football terms through injury. That is, I missed 100 games through injury. Kevin Bartlett and I played for 18 years, him for Richmond, me for Geelong, and he played 100 games more than me. He played 403 games, I played 303.
Thank you very much for coming on the platform, and you are a very top player. It's been more than 30 years now, and you're still a football legend.
Well, I don't know about that. As I said to Mike Sheehan, that's for other people to work out. I would never tell you who I think I am. Embarrassing watching yourself, isn't it, that business about the yes vote?
Well, that's why people love you so much.
No, I got slagged because they said I was homophobic. See, that's how things get hijacked. If you have an opinion that is adverse against minority groups that have an agenda, you get automatically pigeonholed. It's a really lazy way of abusing you.
Only by the small-minded thinking, though, Sam. I think most Aussies love you because you have got a strong opinion, and that's why I think you will make a very good Lord Mayor. Now, what's the story with that? The Lord Mayor of Melbourne position is vacant.
I was asked a couple of years ago, would I be interested in it? I said I wouldn't be. And I was asked a couple of weeks ago, and I said, would I be interested in it again? And I said, maybe. And that you only have to say that, and that gets people's interest. I would be interested in, philosophically, the position of Lord Mayor, because I'm a Melbourne CBD resident. It's a great city. We like to think it's one of the most livable cities in the world, but it can do with a bit of tweaking and a bit of improvement. And whether I became the Lord Mayor, hypothetically, or anyone else, it's good to be in the mix so that the people who do elect a Lord Mayor have plenty of diverse range of people to choose from.
Amazing. I think you'd make a great Lord Mayor. What changes would you implement, do you think? What are the problems with Melbourne? I mean, it's the most livable city.
Before we get over the top of our skis,
of course,
before we get too presumptuous, most of the things that you would be interested in, or I would be interested in vetting or putting into place, would have to be in conjunction with the state government, of course, and the police, because it's an issue of security and safety in the city. The homeless, beggars, graffiti, rubbish, and a general well-being of people who not only live in the city or commute to it to work, or more importantly, the people who come from overseas like to think that this city that is touted all around the world for its whole lot of its sporting prowess and achievements, they like to see it for what we say it should be and is. But having said that, the foremost and most important thing about it is don't worry about the people who work in the city or commute to it or the people who visit it. Think of those unfortunate people who have to live on the streets and in the parks and in the doorways of shops. This is not just going and getting and wrapping them up and taking them somewhere else. This is trying to do something with their lives to improve their well-being and their physical presence on this planet. But having said that, if we what you'll find is that people always like to exploit the situation. You'll get people hijack on the back of the genuine homeless and think they'll get a free meal and free accommodation and free benefits and free entitlements and free food stamps and all that sort of stuff. So there'd be a fair weeding out process, and that I think is well overdue, although the people who former Lord Mayors have been fantastic and always have the city at heart, in their heart, so I would be the same.
A lot of Melbournians don't quite understand what happened in the Lord Mayor's office. What's the elevator pitch? What happened there? Why is it all so disrupted? Why was the footy show so disrupted? What's happening there with all these, complaints from people? How would you sum it up, Sam? Has the world changed?
Are we talking about the Me Too?
All that sort of stuff.
The Me Too.
What's your view on that?
Well, I tell you what I'd do. If I stood for the Lord Mayor, I'd have a moratorium of a month before I even took office. I'd say, if you have any complaints about me sexually, about unsolicited sex or unsolicited advancement, or please come forward now and we can deal with it, because I'd be very confident that I've done a lot of ordinary things in my life, but none of them have been non-consensual. So if anyone has any claim against me for non-consensual advancement or sexual harassment, come forward now and we can either knock it on the head or I can drop out before I start.
It's funny how they all come out.
But if you come after the month's up, if you come after in a month or 2 months or a year after, don't bother coming then, because you'll be lying. You'll be fibbing. I'd be very confident no one had come forward. But you never know.
Sam, I always enjoyed watching you play. 18 years with Geelong. What were the highlights and what were the worst moments of being a professional player for so long? Well, the highlights, of course, are that actually is a very good question, because the highlights are the competitive aspect of playing football on a weekly basis during the winter here in Melbourne. But the game has changed now. I'm not saying it's changed for the worse, but it's certainly changed because the gladiatorial aspect of football has almost made way for a theatrical performance of aerobics, the way it used to be played and the way it's played today. Don't get me wrong, it's a very tough game, but people now go for the ball with immunity, knowing that no one will hit them hard, no one will be untoward towards them, and therefore the fear factor of playing football has disappeared. Fear is what gets your attention in life and makes you very anxious about your performance. That has almost disappeared from our game. Might be a good thing in this changing world that political correctness has dogged us almost out of existence, but we are towing some imaginary line that the people who run our game and our world and our society want us to tow, much to the chagrin of most of the people who live in it. Mr. Newman, how did it feel to be inducted to the Hall of Fame? I think it was 2002, wasn't it?
It was a while ago. Well, that's a great honour. It's a great honour. You don't play football for the honours or for the trophies or whatever, but that's some sort of recognition by your peers. But there's plenty of people in the Hall of Fame, so it's not really unique to be there. But I feel honoured to be part of it.
You're very humble. Let's have a look at your humbleness on the streets.
There you go. It's Ian Newman. Your real name's Ian Newman. Here you are, that one.
How are you, madam? What a lovely joke. Oh, gee. She's just driven into the actual stop sign.
You give the season a rating.
You haven't been on the booze, have you? funny.
What's flog? I don't know what that means.
Gator
That is a flog. Can't tolerate idiots or...
Grandson will dance for you. He's a Ninja Turtle.
That's a boy?
Yep.
Is it? He says the F word 800.
Yeah. No, Sam. I don't
Thank you,
like
Dov.
I don't like that.
So you like clean television, do you?
Clean your mouth too.
You see what that girl did then? Did you?
Yeah.
She grabbed me on the lunch.
I'm sorry for you.
No, I quite enjoyed it.
Sam, your life's been a series of spectacular success. You know, footy star and then you leave. That's more than 30 years ago. And now you're having all this fun on the footy show. What's it like to be every week to get up there and you're on national TV being judged to entertain and to make people laugh?
Being judged and critiqued to within an inch of our lives. I think I've been called, someone sent this in, I don't know if they're a fan or the opposite, but they said I've been called 84 derogatory and abusive things over the 24 years I've been on television. They usually start off with racist, homophobic, sexist, and then they go to bigoted and white supremacist. And someone called me a nihilist the other day, and I had no idea what a nihilist was, so I looked it up, and it means people who don't give a stuff about anything. So I'm immune to it all, and I enjoy the people I work with, because remember this, your life is divided into 3 parts. You spend a third of your life in bed, a third of your life working, and a third of your life in leisure time. And if you don't like the person you get into bed with or the people you work with, it's a hell of a long life. So
Very good point.
it is a good point, isn't it?
Sam, what's it like having Eddie back?
Well, it is, first of all, it's fantastic having Eddie back. So let's just say that. But having said that, it would mean that it was a relief to have him back, because I didn't get on well with James Brayshaw or Gary Lyon or Rebecca Madden or Craig Hutchison, and nothing could be further from the truth. They are all great people and great stars, and I have great admiration and respect for all of them. But things change, and the world rotates, and things evolve, and for various reasons people have come and gone, and we are now back with Eddie, who started it off 24 years ago. And I don't know if you've ever met Eddie, or people watching have ever met him, but he's a tremendous Australian success story, and I'm a friend of his, so I'm happy to say that for a start. But he is a fantastic Melburnian, and like him or not, he is as good an operator for this country and this city as you would find anywhere.
Sam, I know you've got a hot dinner date. One last question.
Yeah.
What's something viewers don't know about you?
Well, I don't know. I'm just telling you, I'm a very introverted person by nature. I'm basically pretty shy. My public persona is not really what I am. I'm not contrived or false, but away from the television or away from the media, I'm a bit of a recluse. I don't go out. I like my own company. I have about 3 real friends. I have a woman I live with called Amanda, and I get on very well with her. So I don't know if that's pretty boring, but people would think I'm a buffoon. Well, I'm happy to be known as a
you
buffoon,
always
or
say
a
that, Sam,
troglodyte,
but
or a
guess what?
Luddite, or a dinosaur, all those things.
You
but
always
I
say
don't-
that, but guess what? They all love you.
I tell you what,
they
the
all love
beauty
you.
of what I'm not involved in, mate, I don't have, I'm not in the social media. I couldn't care less about it. It is a pernicious, dangerous thing. I don't care what people say about me. I don't care what they think of me, because I'll never find out, because I never read it or watch it.
You are a very special... Sam, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All the best, and thank you very much, Sam Newman. He's a great man. We'll be back very shortly with Rosie Faraci.